really what they're doing is destroying their marriage. Gradually, after a while, this kind of behavior, one will look at one's wife and say, well, she's not as good looking as this other lady I'm seeing walking down the road. That kind of stigma of looking with lust at the opposite sex has been curtailed and restricted in Islam. First, the male is supposed to lower his eyes. That's the first command. First, the male should lower his eyes. And if he glances, generally there's no harm. But he should not be looking lustfully. Now, how to protect? If he does want to converse with a sister, she should be dressed modestly so that he can converse with her without falling into that trap of, natural trap of longing to know the person better. So therefore, dress protects the Islamic way of life. It protects the marriage fundamentally. And the lady can dress as she wishes, and she has every right, as it says in the khutbah, we said, to be dressed and clothed, fed and clothed in kindness. And the husband's supposed to give, according to his wealth, whatever the wife needs. But that is for the family, for the children to see, the relatives, uncles, nephews, nieces, but not for those who are outside of that circle. That protects the basic family and the respect and dignity of that family. And I believe that is one of the wisdoms in Islam. And it, by the way, it creates freedom for the family to be, in the end, it is freedom which is obtained. Freedom from jealousy, from hasad, from envy, from divorce. And now we see what is the final result of this kind of way of life in the West. How many, I don't know what the statistics are, I'm sure you know better, 1 in 3 or whatever, divorce. There's the evidence.
Jazakallah. We have one question here. It's to do with evolution. It's a general topic. How can I answer my daughter who will ask me one day that man was created from an egg? Well, we were created from Adam and Eve. What would your comment be on that?
What came first, the chicken or the egg? I think this is the, riddle. And first man was created, human being was created as a human being. It was no accident. And that is foolish, for a person to imagine or to think or propose that the human being in all his wonderment and faculty was like the result of the bumping around of a few cells, here or there, in such perfect consequence, meticulous mathematical precision, something that the chances of which would be billions and billions upon billions and billions and billions of coincidences following one another. I mean, that to me is the mentality of a monkey, I would say. But the question of the chicken and the egg. So what came first, they say, the chicken or the egg? Well, it would be logical to think that the egg came first, because the egg sort of dates the chicken, usually. Chickens don't just start flying around. They have to be, as a result of the egg. But at the same time, we know that what can come out of a chicken could be an alligator. So who decided what was to come out of the egg? And what was destined was the chicken, not the egg. So in other words, as far as I'm concerned, Adam was created the father of all human beings, to be the first human being, and God created him from dust. And that's in the Quran, and logic also would help us to understand. If this so-called idea of evolution, which by the way I think a lot of scientists have already discarded a long time ago, but there's a basic echo of this theory still hanging around. It's logical that from one comes two, even when you learn about biology and you learn amoeba, you know, the basic, you know, entity, or be created or to evolve and to be both having the same faculties as man, impossible. So we know for sure, even logic demands that we accept that there was one first man and first woman. Alhamdulillah. Wallahu a'lam.
إن سألتم عن نبي فهو إنسان عظيم.
One Islam Productions, an Islamic film studio established in Australia, is dedicated to producing films for all Muslims. Just some of the films by One Islam Productions: children's programs, Islam for Me, We Remember Allah, Storytime, and more. Educational films, Pray as You Have Seen Me Pray, Words, Ramadan, Renewal of Faith. Documentaries. We at One Islam Productions believe that Islam is precious and deserves to be presented in only the highest quality. Visit us at www.oneislam.net for more information. One Islam Productions, a film production company run by Muslims for Muslims. خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم